Well, July was a nice slowdown for game releases, but unfortunately August is proving to be anything but that. With over 60 titles I could find and am still sorting through, it's safe to say there is going to be 2 or maybe even more videos out this month. So, without further ado, here are 6 interesting games, at least according to me, releasing between the 1st and 16th of August 2025. Starting off the list at number 1, we have Oscuro Blossom's Glow, a beautifully charming narrative puzzle platformer. In this beautifully hand-drawn world, filled with mystical glowing flowers, you'll play as Celine, a young girl with the unique ability to absorb and emit the light produced by these flowers, all in order to activate mechanisms, illuminate paths, move objects, and raise platforms. You know, all the usual stuff you do on a platformer, except this time you do it with flower light. However, this game isn't just a platformer filled with beautiful art and atmospheric audio where you go from A to B with no real story or other characters. It's quite the opposite. You'll come to discover these flowers are part of a root system belonging to an ancient, collapsed, mystical tree, and that their phantasmal glowing lights are responsible for sustaining and giving life to numerous worlds entangled within the tree's roots. This will all change though, with the emergence of a Dark One, who begins stealing the flower's light, further weakening the ancient tree, and forcing Celine, who would usually use her gift to sustain and preserve life, to embark on a journey to reclaim and reignite each flower's lost spark, where along the way, she'll encounter both friendly and hostile creatures that add extra layers of complexity to the platformer's puzzles, whilst also forcing crucial decisions that shape the fate of the entire world, all whilst slowly coming to understand her adversary, the Dark One, his suffering and motives, and ultimately being faced with one final, crucial choice in the final, darkest world. So, if this sounds like your kind of game, consider grabbing a copy when it releases on August 6th for PC. Next up on the list is, dare I say it, another beautifully hand-drawn world that seamlessly blends pixel art environments and NPCs with graphic novel-style cutscenes and interactions, and that is Artist Impact. Set in a post-apocalyptic future, you'll play as Akane as she explores what's left of the world, abandoned machines, silent cities, and digital echoes of humanity. With her trusty AI companion, she'll pick up odd jobs, interact with quirky survivors, and uncover clues about the collapse of society, all whilst gradually revealing a deeper story about identity, purpose, and hope. At its core, Artist Impact is first and foremost a story-rich, single-player, turn-based RPG, made by a singular individual that blends numerous game elements together, the most prominent of which would be its own version of Persona's calendar system. You've got set days to complete quests and missions, and time doesn't really move unless you end the day or progress the story. And then it has the off days, time in between main quests, where the game will practically become a cozy slice of life sim like Stardew Valley, in which you're free to explore the town, talk with NPCs, pick up side quests, cook meals, or browse one of the many stores in-game, all whilst the in-game clock steadily ticks morning into night. Or, if you're not keen on any of those, you could spend that downtime strength training Akane or picking up a part-time job like you would in Persona. But no matter what you focus on, the game never runs short of interesting and comedic dialogue, expressive pixel animations, and of course cutscenes that can pop up at any moment. And instead of a traditional animated scene or pixel-style cinematics like Dave the Diver, you're treated to a hand-drawn, graphic novel-style panel and illustrations that carry the story forward. So to sum it up as best I can, Artist Impact is Stardew Valley, Dave the Diver, and Chef RPG all mixed together with a Persona-style calendar system, and it's set in the far future. And even that's probably underselling it. Either way, if this sounds like your kind of game, consider grabbing a copy when it releases on August 7th for PC. And coming in at number 3 on my list is an epic action-packed world from a franchise that really needs no introduction. Whether you have played it or you haven't, you've heard of it, and that is Mafia: The Old Country. That's right guys, Mafia is back, this time in the form of a prequel set back where it all began, in 1930s Sicily, the old country itself. This time round, the gameplay leans into what Mafia has always done best: gritty, story-driven, third-person action with open-world segments, shootouts, and plenty of classic cars, and this time horses. But that's not what you're here for. This time, you're here to take on the role of a young Sicilian man who gets pulled deep into the criminal underworld, not just running errands, but rising through the ranks by doing the dirty work. Expect intense gunfights, stealthy assassinations, and dramatic story beats that give serious, old school mafia movie energy. So, if old school mob violence is your cup of coffee, consider grabbing a copy when it releases on August 8th for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Next on my list is an action-packed, third-person narrative adventure that honestly gives me the vibes of if you crossed Fable with the modern God of War games, and that game is Echoes of the End. In it you'll play as Rin, a warrior with the rare ability to manipulate matter itself, disassembling objects, reshaping the environment, and using that power in combat to devastating effect. The game mixes cinematic storytelling with melee combat, ranged attacks, and environmental puzzle solving, all wrapped in large, semi-open areas you can freely explore. One moment you're dueling heavily armored foes, intense, weighty combat, and the next you're using your abilities to open hidden paths, craft weapons on the fly, or turn the battlefield itself to your advantage. It's not just a hack and slash, it's a blend of exploration, narrative choice, and cinematic set pieces that shift between quiet, emotional moments and explosive action. So, if wielding magic and fighting evil in a fantasy version of Iceland is up your alley, then Echoes of the End might just be worth keeping an eye on when it drops on August 12th for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Coming in at number 5 is a title that was originally released years ago on PC and Xbox, but is now finally coming to PlayStation 5, and that is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Like its Xbox and Steam counterparts, this game focuses on Senua, a picked warrior on a harrowing journey through a brutal, mythic world inspired by Norse and Celtic culture. It's a cinematic, third-person action-adventure where combat is visceral and weighty, exploration is tense and atmospheric, and the narrative pulls you deep into Senua's struggles with psychosis, blurring the line between reality, myth, and the voices in her head. This PS5 release comes with enhanced and improved features, including a 60 FPS mode, the return of the Dark Rot permadeath system from the first game, and full use of the PlayStation 5's variable rate shading and its so-called super resolutions for sharper visuals. So, if you haven't yet played this entry in the series, or you want to experience its newest features, consider grabbing a copy when it releases on August 12th for, you guessed it, PlayStation 5. And finally, last but not least on this list for games releasing in the first half of August is an honourable mention in the form of a short, side-scrolling, pixel-esque game that is really Souls-esque at its heart, and that is the indie gem, The Dark Queen of Morthong. Now it has been out for a while, but it has only just been listed on Steam. Before then it was independent for download. But regardless of that, I'll give you a quick rundown of it. In it, you'll play as the Dark Queen herself, which basically, quote-unquote, is you're the end boss and you're playing in an anti-game where you seek to experience and deconstruct the traditional hero's journey in the form of a narrative, choice-based game where the story changes depending on your decisions and actions, leading to multiple possible endings and heaps of replayability because it's a short and quick game. So, with it finally coming to Steam, I thought I'd bring it up, so if it does sound like your kind of jam and you want to support its creator, consider grabbing a copy when it releases on August 16th for PC. And that concludes my list of games coming out or already out in the first half of August that I personally found interesting. Now don't worry, come the middle of the month, I hope to have another video out that will cover the rest of the month's releases, because there are some gems dropping towards the end of the month that I want to go into more detail on. But until then, let me know which of the ones I covered that you are excited for, or if I missed something cool that's releasing in the first half of the month. So don't be shy, drop that in the comments. And of course, while you're there, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for the latest game release news, guides, and how-tos. So if you're still watching, thanks a ton, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.